be self-existent of the crisis. We had the global crisis on 2007, 2008, the dot-com bubble in 2000, the Asian financial crisis 1997, crisis of 1987, the Great Depressions in the U.S. market in 1929 and 1933, and recently we have the crisis from COVID-19, right? And before that will be the Greece-born crisis as well in 2011. So this crisis, some of them getting started from the stock market, some of them happening from the like macroeconomy scale, but they also have the impact on the security market. So when you research on the crisis, things that you need to remember to keep in mind that you need to figure out, is there any signs that warning the happening of the crisis like forward. So sure, they have signs. It's just like people believe on those signs or not, right? And what is the impact of crisis when it happens? And after crisis, how do the market regulators and the market participants handle the consequences of the crisis? For example, like one thing that we sure done is that the market regulator will like apply stricter regulation on the market to prevent future like similar events. So crisis is good to know. So please research yourself on the crisis happening in the financial market globally and in the security market globally over the time. Like COVID-19 still happening, right? You can assess what will happen with the security market. Will security markets of all the markets in the world get affected all the time, or the effect will be like rule out in sometimes, will be disappear sometimes, all right? So that's for crisis that you need to self-study. We will go for this one right now. So we need to determine where is the security market or where is the stock market in the financial system. So this is the thing that I think you may already see in many other classes that you have taken. So do you remember this one? This one is the like diagram that picture the system of the financial market in an economy. We have indirect finance, or we can call it indirect financing, and we have the other channel, direct financing. And for sure, the finance will go from the saver to the borrower, right? From the saver to the spender, or from the lender to the borrower. They can go through several ways, but there will be two main ways: indirect finance and direct finance, or direct financing and indirect financing. So since you have learned this one in previous classes, I will give you some time to think of it and give me explanations for the two channels in like 2 minutes. So 2 minutes from now, and then I will call randomly of you guys to explain for me one of the two channels. All right. Okay, guys, time's up. So I will call like any one of you to answer. Phượng, Nguyễn Phượng. Are you here, Phượng?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So could you give me information of like indirect finance? What is that? What do you know about this channel?
Yes, in my previous class, I have known that a component of the wider financial market where security can be bought and sold between participants of the economy on the basis of demand and supply.
That is indirect or direct financing?
That is direct financing.
Okay. So, okay, let me copy the words down. Just wait a minute. Thank you. Very good one. So we have the first one. We'll go from the direct financing first. Direct financing again. Could you repeat?
Yes. The direct finance market is a place where security can be bought and sold between participants of the economy on the basis of demand and supply.
Okay. So security can be bought and sold in the financial market. So why do they call it direct financing?
Because they bought and sold security direct to participant. We don't have.
We don't have what? You're close to the point. Anyone that support her?
They don't have a financial intermediary.
They don't have. So we don't have here, don't have financial intermediary.
Such as a bank.
Bank. Okay.
Yeah.
What else? Okay, so such a bank. All right. Okay, so what do you know about indirect financing? Let me see. B. What about indirect financing? Just copy it out. I just copied out the words first and then we'll correct for you guys after. Indirect financing. So we need to differentiate between indirect financing and direct financing so we will know where is the position of the security market. So what is indirect financing? Tài trợ vốn gián tiếp. B. Ngọc Vi. Are you here? No. Are you speaking? I cannot hear you. Hương Giang, Trần Hương Giang. Trần Hương Giang, so Hương Giang is not here. Hạ Hồng. Hồng Hạ. Hạ Hồng, should I call you? Nhật Thanh. Nhật Thành. What time?
In my opinion, the borrower borrowed the money from the third party, which is the financial intermediaries, such as
In the
bank.
indirect financing?
Yeah,
In which one?
financial intermediaries.
Okay. So the money or the capital is transferred from saver to the borrower
Yes,
with the help of
the third party.
the third party. Exactly, good. Which is the financial intermediary. Good. For example, like banks here. Okay, good point. Really good point. So we need to make something clear here, all right? Why do we have this? What is the mark here? So the direct financing, meaning that the money or the capital will be directly transferred from the saver to the borrower. But it doesn't mean that we don't have financial intermediaries in the direct financing. That's not correct point. So do they need to know each other, the saver and the borrower? How do the saver give the money to the borrower in terms of using financial intermediary? Thành or Thành? How should I call you? Thành or Thành?
Thành.
Yes, Thành. All right, Thành. So how do saver send the money to the borrower with the help of the bank here? So what do the saver use?
The saver send their idle money to the bank, and
Good.
the borrower borrow them by a loan from the banks. Yes.
Okay, good. So the borrower will access the bank, approach the bank to get the loans, right?
Yes.
So in this point, do the saver and the borrower need to know each other?
No, we don't need.
Yeah, right. Good. Saver and borrower doesn't need to know. No need to know each other, right? And the second part is that saver deposit and borrower loan amount don't need to be in the same magnitude. Same size, right? For example, like you have 10 million to deposit in the bank. It doesn't mean that the bank needs to lend out to the firm the exact 10 million, right? And at the same time is that if you have 1 billion deposit in the bank, it doesn't mean that the bank needs to lend out to the firm the exact 1 billion. It depends on the firm. It depending on the firm kind of like demand, right? And it's depending on the amount of money that you supply as well. Okay, V, I got the answer. I got the response already. Don't worry about that. So that for indirect financing, there will be a third party stepping on the way of transferring money from saver to the borrower. So saver and borrower doesn't need to know each other, and the amount of the deposit and the amount of the loans doesn't need to be like exactly the same, because you know that bank can mobilize the capital from the other channels, not only by taking the deposit, right? Deposit is the main proportion of that, but they can also borrow the money from the other bank. They can also borrow money from the central bank. They also can issue the stock and bond to get the money so that they can lend out to the customer, lend out to the firm and individual, right? So in indirect financing, the money will not directly go from the saver to the borrower. It's indirectly going, right? And for direct financing, the tài trợ vốn trực tiếp, the money or capital, the idle capital here, will be directly transferred from the saver to the borrower. And how could we say it directly transfer? So we'll go back to the point that we already made out to the case of the indirect financing here. The first one, like no need to know each other, don't need to be at the same size here. All right. So for the case of direct financing, we have this one: savers know about the borrower. The money from saver goes to borrower in full amount. All right. So these are 2 points that you need to keep in mind for direct financing. Saver knows borrowers. For example, like you buy. Example here will be like investor A buys 1,100 MWG shares in stock market. Let's say this one in the primary market. This one, the second one in the secondary market. All right. So the first one you already see the differences between indirect financing and direct financing. The first one, for indirect financing, there will be no case that the saver and borrowers need to know each other or have to know each other, and the amount of money should not be the same, will not be the same, and will not be required to be the same. But for the case of direct financing, because I directly give the money to you, so when I give you 10 million, meaning that it will get from me 10 million, right? And saver know about borrower. For example, like the one that I took here for you guys, investor A buys 100,000 MWG shares in stock market. This one for Thế giới di động, right? And say A is who here? A is who? Borrower or saver?
The saver.
Yeah, the savers, right? And MWG here is the borrower, right? So when I buy 100,000 MWG, the equivalent amount of value will be sent from A to MWG in the primary market. So I know that I'm investing in MWG. I know that I'm sending money to MWG. So saver know the borrowers, right? The second one, that amount of money is directly go from A to MWG in full amount. So 100,000 share times the market price, the offer price from MWG. And someone said before, sorry, I don't remember the name. Direct financing, meaning that the financing is done through the financial market. Securities could be bought and sold in the financial market. And this one is not only about security. So this one should be correct as financial instruments. Financial instruments could be bought and sold in the financial market. So just go back here a little bit. Buyer of the financial instruments is whom? Saver or borrower, guys. And we have the second one, seller of the financial instrument is whom? Buyer or, saver or borrower.
Saver, I guess.
Which one?
The saver?
Here, right here,
Yeah.
here. And here will be the remaining one, right? Seller. So because you say it's the guess, so how could you confirm that? Just put here. If we have here is the buyer of financial instruments, right? And here we have the seller. Insurance. So we have 2 arrows here. 2 arrows. One will be for securities, for the financial instruments, and one will be for the money. When you are the buyer of the financial instruments, the flow get back to you or come in or flow in will be securities or money. What do you think? What will be this?
Money.
The flow in will be
The flow in money.
Security.
money. You buy. Yeah, security, right? Because you buy the financial instrument is you are going to buy them, so you are going to get them. Meaning that the one that's flying to you is securities. Is this correct? Or we can call it in general term, financial instrument. Is this correct, guys? And you agree with me?
Yeah.
All right. And you buy the financial instruments so that you need to pay out in terms of, in the form of
Money.
money, right? So when you have the money to pay out, meaning that you are the saver. You are the one that in surplus of money, right? And this guy, the seller, is the one that in shortage of money. They need the money. So they need to sell out of security to get the money back to them so they can mobilize the capital. This is the way that it functions in the direct financing channel. All right. The next one that you mentioned, that direct financing doesn't have financial intermediaries. This one is kind of vague. It's kind of blur. It's not like 100% correct. It's depending on the term that they use. They usually call this guy as financial institution, or in some materials they call them as the financial intermediaries. So in both direct and indirect financing, we still have the financial intermediary or financial institutions, but the function of them is different. For example, like this one. In this indirect financing, we sure have the financial institutions, or we can call it like financial intermediary, like a trung gian tài chính. All right, but you know that in this indirect financing, do they have? Okay, we have 2 right here. Ownership right of saver capital, and usage right of savers capital. Which one do they have? Which right do they have? Oh, sorry. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. you guys for the first one. In indirect financing channel, what kind of rights that the financial institution have? Do they have the ownership right of saver capital? What do you think? If you deposit money into the bank, is that money belong to the bank or belong to you? So that ownership right. Okay.
I think when they put the money in the bank, they will have the ownership right of the saver capital because they already signed the contract between the bank.
So if the ownership right is transferred from the saver to the bank, meaning that if you go to the bank and ask for money back, they will not get back to you because they have ownership right.
Yes.
Because the money belongs to them.
Yes.
Right? So if you have money and you put the money into the bank and you cannot get the money back, do you deposit in the bank?
Yes.
No.
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 It could be.
You still deposit in the bank? So sorry. If you have 10 million or 10 billion and you put in the bank, I'm so sorry for say goodbye to the money. Okay? So for sure that for this one, there could not be the right. They should have the usage right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. They should have usage right. It's like they can use the money whatever they want. For example, like you have money deposit into the bank. You cannot tell the bank that, okay, you take my deposit and you lend out to VCB. You don't have that right. That right will belong to the bank. So bank can lend out the money to anyone or they can use the money in any profession. So providing that they can give back the money to you when you request them. All right. So for the indirect financing, they will have like usage right of saver capital. What about the financial institution in direct financing? Do they have ownership rights?
Yes, they have.
They have. So if you put money like if you are the investor, you buy 100,000 MWG shares. So you put money into MWG, right? So that you will lose money because you already transfer the ownership right. Is that right? What are the financial institutions in the direct financing? There could be banks, there could be brokerage firm, but mainly you will see brokerage firm. What is this one in Vietnamese, guy? What is the name of this guy in Vietnamese? Brokerage firm?
Công ty môi giới chứng khoán.
Exactly, good. So this one we can call in Vietnamese securities firm, but the professional term is brokerage firm. So because this one is direct financing, so there will be no money stored at financial institutions. There's just the third guy in the market that make the flows of the capital from the saver to the borrower better, more efficient, flow more efficient. So this guy will have neither right here. No. It's just the third guy in the market that step there have to like bridge or connect the saver and the borrower so that you can like lend the money to the borrower like more efficiently in the short period of time with lower cost. So that kind of thing. Right? For example, like brokerage firms. It's like you don't know who are in shortage of money. You don't know which firm is like in need of money. So this guy will give you the information and then you put the money in them. Right? But the money is still yours money, right? Do you guys get this point? Are you guys understanding? Okay. Are you good, guys? Do you need me to clear out for any point? Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. So we go for the last one is that not all the transactions, buying and selling financial instruments in financial markets could have the borrower increase their capital. Keep in mind this one. Not all the transactions in the financial market could have the borrower increase their capital. So we have two examples here. The first one. Investor A buy this one, the same statement, but just in different markets. So this one, yes, increase the capital, but this one, no increase in the capital. This one, increase MWG capital for operation. This one, no increase MWG, no increase in MWG's capital for operation. All right. We will get into why is this happening in a few minutes. Are you guys okay with this one?
Yep.
All right, good, very good. So we go for the next one before we go back to here. So I need to erase this one a bit. The next one that we need to keep in mind is type of the financial. Types of financial instruments. We have the short-term versus long-term financial instruments. So what is short-term? Okay, let me put in full name. Instruments, all right? Versus long-term instruments. So you need to keep in mind this one for me. Let me go back to a more visible writing. Okay, the short-term is those with the maturities of less than 1 year, and this one is those with maturities of more than 1 year.
Bruh.
Okay, this one will be traded in money market, and this one will be traded in capital market. And part of the capital market, we have many capital markets, and part of them is security market, not stock market. All right. So keep in mind this one for me. Particular market will trade particular type of instruments. For example, like here, the short term will be traded in the money market. The long term will be traded in the capital market. You cannot bring the long-term one to the short-term market. That all right? So, are you guys all right? Could you copy down this one? I will move you back to an example so you can see the difference. Here is the example for you guys to do. Just define for me which market will be like suitable for which type of financial instrument. Could you think of any kind of answer for this one? We have like two options here. One is capital market and the other one is money market. So the first one is government bond, 5 year of maturity. So sure, this one long term, right? We don't need to care about the remaining features like it's like time of issue or the value of the coupon. The second one, the same. Government bond, 5 year of maturities issued in 2015. Okay, let me change this one a little bit. So this one will be November 16, and this one will be April 2021. So let's change that one. All right. Okay. And we have the third one stock. And we have like certificate of deposit, and we have treasury bill, we have investment fund certificate. So you need to categorize A, B, C, D, E, F into like either capital market or money market. So I'll give you like 2 minutes to think, and then I will ask you to answer this. Anyone volunteer to do so? Anyone volunteer to like categorize the market for this guy? Short term, go for money market. Long term, go to capital market. Which market for the first one? Chi? Lan Chi, right?
Yes.
Or Chi Lan? Okay. Chi, could you define for me the first one? Which market for the first one?
I think the first one is long term. Is capital market.
Yeah. So, why?
I think it has more maturity is more than 1 year.
Okay. So this one, because the maturity is larger than 1 year, right? It's good. What about the second one? Time. Do you have any answer? Any supporting idea?
The second one I think is the money market because
Why?
the maturity is less than 1 year.
Issue, just nearly issue, right? Issue on in 2021.
Yeah.
It's nearly issues, right? It's just issue on
Yeah.
1st of April. So it's still money market?
No. Capital market.
Yeah, right. What about number A? Do you have the other answer? Do still any answer for this? Okay, we go for stock first, and then we'll get back to A. All right. What about stock? Hương Giang. Is Hương Giang here?
Yes.
Okay, Zhang, will you give me the answer? What do you think?
I think is capital market.
Capital market. Why? Hải Phạm. Minh Hải.
Well, I think it's money market because the majority is less than 1 year.
How could you say it's less than 1 year?
Because the price of stock is changed every day, and we can buy or sell the stock every day. So the majority is less than 1 year.
Fluctuate daily. Available daily. Okay, I will put up your option here. Thank you. Bye. Certificate of deposit, this one issued by the bank, so it's short term. So this one will be in the money market. I give you the answer. Tang, I will get back to you in a few minutes. This one money market, all right, because this one short term. For certificate of deposit, if you have learned from the other classes, you may know that this one is exactly the same like deposit. It's just like deposit is based on the customer demand, but certificates of deposit will be mainly based on bank demand. Like if bank needs the short-term money and quick money, they will issue like a certificate of deposit to raise the money from the public. And usually the rate on certificate of deposit will be higher than the deposit as usual at the same maturity. And these guys are less than 1 year maturity, so they will be traded in money market. The second one, treasury bills. So treasury bills in case of like, hi, do you have any questions? Sorry. Hi.
No.
That you raised
no
that?
question. I mean the answer E, the treasury bills.
Yeah. Will be
Money market.
good. Exactly. Perfect. This one, thank you, Dad. It's money market, right? Because and at this point, I would like to introduce guys the other terms as well. So we have like in the case of US, they have two terms: T-bills and T-bond, right? So this one equivalent to government bond in Vietnam names, right? So this one is money market for sure because it's short term like that, just that. And for this one, it will be in the capital market. So two different markets. And the last one, F here, certificate of the investment fund. So this one, they usually call it like fund certificate, chứng chỉ quỹ đầu tư certificate, or they can call them as fund share as well. But in Vietnam, we don't call it fund share because that will make people misunderstanding with the share of the firm, and it also do not obey the Vietnamese law in securities because fund in Vietnam cannot issue shares. But in international like sphere, they also call it fund share and fund certificates because in international like regulations in different markets, in developed markets like US and UK and Japan, they allow the fund to issue the share, so they can have the other name fund share. But all of these are the same as the firm because the fund will have long kind of life. They will have like 5 to 20 years of of operation. So this one will be the same term, same living term for the fund certificate and fund share. So this one will be traded in the capital market. Things that we need to review is the one that gets controversial result or answer. Let me highlight here. Here. Okay, so we get this one, C. Two different answer, right? And we have A, the one that you may see like misunderstand a little bit. So we go for C first, stock. So Hai said like, as I remember it from Hai saying like, Hai said like stock can be traded daily. It's available daily. And the price of stock market price of stock fluctuates daily. So this one should be traded in the money market, not in the capital market. Do you have any answer for this? Any other guys have any other opinion on this? C. Which one do you think? Money market or capital market? What do you think, guys? Tiến, Đạt, are you here?
Yes, I think stock is belong to the capital market because it is a tool to raise capital for the long-term purpose. So
Yeah,
it belongs to
exactly.
capital market.
Good point. So stock is like one type of instrument that the firm or the operation, the firm or the corporations use to mobilize the long-term capital. So remember that the criteria that we use to divide one financial instrument into long-term market or short-term market is based on the maturities, not based on the other criteria. All right. So based on the maturities, stock could be understand like no maturities because stock will go with the firm life. When the firm still operate, so stock still exists in the market. When the firm dies, then stock disappear. So at this when the firm still operating in the market, stock still alive in the market, and it's long term. It's more than 1 year. There will be severe case that the joint stock company still operate for 1 year, but usually you see in the market there's no firm in the form of joint stock company operate less than 1 year, right? So usually it's more than 1 year. So because of the firm operates more than 1 year, the stock will still live in the market for more than 1 year. So stock will be traded in the capital market. So keep in mind that the criteria we use to categorize the financial instruments into which market is that based on the maturities. Same reasoning for the number 1, government bond. You see that government bond 5 years of maturities and it's issued in 2016 in November, meaning that it will due or it will mature. It will mature in November 2021. So from now to 2021, that is like how many months? We have like I don't know. Now we are in May, right? So we have June, July, August, September, November, and October and November. So we have 6 remaining months to the maturity date of the government bond in question A, right? So 6 months is less than 1 year, but we still keep this government bond in the capital market because the criteria that we use is the maturities, not the remaining maturity. So keep in mind that one for me. We base on the maturity, which is the total maturity of 5 years, instead of remaining maturity of 6 months. So government bonds still be traded in the capital market. Is it all right to you guys here? Are you guys all agree with the answer?
Yes.
All right. Thank you guys. So maybe next week, not next week, tomorrow, I will get back to you the case that why do the transaction in different market cannot raise the capital for the firm. We have two particular market, primary market and secondary market. We need to know exactly what are they and how do the capital raised in particular market cannot go directly to the firm. Okay, thank you guys and see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, goodbye for now.